This video contains main story spoilers for FF14 Shadowbringers and side story spoilers for Hildibrand in Endwalker.
Champions from beyond the rift, heed my call. The time is come to deliver your brethren from darkness. My heart's sole desire is a world free of sorrow. Join with me now in hope and prayer for the salvation of all.
We all remember this scene, when we faced off with Elidibus, as he summoned the Warriors of Light from beyond the rift to grant him strength and fight by his side. It's looking increasingly likely that we are about to open a path to the other reflections. Heck, the MSQ has been dropping hints left, right and centre. So, with that in mind, let's look a little closer at these Spectral Heroes, those defenders from other worlds. To begin, let's quickly break down Elidibus' plan and how the Spectral Heroes fit into it. Elidibus, by his own admission, has been laying the groundwork for the plan for ages. The ultimate goal was to foster faith in the Warriors of Light on the First, which would grant him, a primal under the guise of Ardbert, substantial powers. This phenomenon is similar to tempering on Aetheris, where they grant their primal strength through faith and prayer. He seems to have been doing this for many years, as we found evidence of previous Warrior of Lights on the First living long ago. He took it a step further on the First by unlocking the Echo in many of its citizens.
Hear, feel, think. I hear a voice.
The final piece of his plan was to utilise Exarch Gratia's summoning magic, the very same one he used to summon the Scions and ourselves to the First. Elidibus has mastered this magic, and used it successfully to summon the souls of heroes from beyond the rift, from the Source's reflections. Those spectral heroes that emerge are not whole in body. Elidibus himself states it's not necessary to summon them entirely, rather just enough of their soul that would retain their power, while also making them susceptible to his will.
But you assume I require my champions to be summoned in their entirety. I do not. Their souls needn't even be whole.
That will is a very simple command that would make them fight for him and vanquish all that stands in their way.
Here lies darkness. It must be destroyed.
The plan works perfectly, and the Spectral Heroes go on the attack right away in the defense of the light.
In the name of the light, I shall vanquish the darkness. I shall deliver the world from its doom.
And who might you be?
That's the how of it out of the way. Now let's look at the fate of these Spectrals and their characteristics. They are easily recognisable due to the glow they emanate. Those of stronger will and etheric levels give off a stronger glow, and look much more whole in body as well as mind. The first one we met was a spectral swordsman, most likely a paladin. The others that follow represent the other jobs we are familiar with on Aetheris, such as Black Mage, White Mage, Dragoon, and so on. While they are strong, they are not much of a threat individually, and are thus dispatched by us or dealt with by our allies. None of these Spectral Heroes identify themselves as Warriors of Light. It's highly likely these people are adventurers from the other reflections and also possibly from Aetheris. Some likely candidates in my mind from the reflections are veteran heroes, or the job trainers we know well on Aetheris. On the subject of Aetheris, to the best of our knowledge, none of these souls came from there. Save one of course, but I'll get to him in a moment. Those are the standard Spectrals we encounter. Then we have the boss level ones, souls possessed of much fuller forms and much denser aether. These individuals are the Spectral Thief, the Spectral Necromancer, and the Spectral Berserker. We face all three in combat, and each is possessed of their own unique skills and mindset. Let's look at the Thief first. Y'shtola and Nurionje view him as a being with aether that shines brighter, and doubtless no ordinary hero from whence he came. Indeed, I believe this individual is a fellow warrior of light, or a close ally of one, likely hailing from one of the other reflections. Next up is the Spectral Necromancer. Per her name, she wields the powers of necromancy and other dark magic. When she's first summoned, Y'shtola remarks that her aether is dark, but within she sees a glimmer of radiance. A key point here. It's been remarked that her own aether has a particular radiance that stands apart from others. During our fight with her, she proclaims that she will fight for her world and the one she loves. She gets a little wrapped up in the fight, similar to a Dark Knight in many ways. I would not be surprised if she has an inner darkness like they do. Near her end is the most important piece of dialogue. Tainted though I am still a warrior of light. This is the first Spectral that has openly called themselves a warrior of light. Her mind appears to not be very stable, as she goes on to state that she is tainted in some way. When we finally defeat her, she laments that she should lose again before fading away. Before I move on, I have a theory to state about her. Given the fact she's tainted in some way and the necromancy magic that she wields, I feel it's plausible that the Spectral Necromancer was in fact a Voidsent, who was once a warrior of light on the 13th. Think about this. What kind of effect would summoning the soul of a warrior turned Voidsent have on that person's soul, and indeed their looks and personality? A Voidsent in body she may have been, but her soul reflects the true nature of her being, tainted or not. Something to ponder at least. Finally, we have the Berserker, whom Y'shtola states has an etheric density higher than all the others they have encountered. Utilizing rage-based abilities, not only to strengthen himself but to debilitate his foes, he puts up a hell of a fight, but does not state much else, aside from losing himself more and more, which is pretty typical of a Berserker. But I think it's safe to say that the Spectral Berserker is also a warrior of light given its etheric levels. Elidibus summons many more warriors of light during our fight with him.
To me, warriors of light!
Each representing the jobs we all know. He was indeed successful in bringing the mythos of the warrior of light to the other reflections. The question remains as to the origins of the Spectral Heroes and exactly what they are. The likelihood is, these fellow warriors from the other reflections fell unconscious where they stood as their soul was summoned away. But this also begs the question, what sort of effect would this summoning have had on them? We saw what happened to the Scions when they endured it. This then begs another question. What was to become of these souls that we were forced to strike down? The average Spectrals broke apart and faded away, and similar happened to the boss level ones. Did these souls dissipate and rejoin the Great Flow? Or were they somehow able to return to their own worlds and rejoin their original bodies? Or worse, is the fact that Elidibus himself stated that he summoned part of their souls meant to mean that he did major damage to them, body and soul, in the process? Might it indeed be possible that our fellow warriors of light on the reflections were all left weakened or even killed by these actions? It makes me wonder that when we step foot on a new reflection, might we find evidence of such? Of a world that was without answer or reason, robbed of its adventurers and heroes. Something to further consider. Say these souls were able to return home. Is it possible that the command he gave all of them to obey would have altered their thinking when they got home, making them fanatical about vanquishing the darkness in the name of the light? A great example of the above is Hildibrand. He was caught up in the summoning along with the other heroes. Now, at the time of the summoning, Hildibrand was in the interdimensional rift, not on Aetheris. His soul shines similar to the Spectral Hero, but he doesn't have ill intentions of fighting the darkness like they do. After he gets his block knocked off by our dwarven friend, his form loses its shine and he also loses his memory, his mind filling the blanks with whatever he can see and hear. Of course, this could all be due to trauma. She did hit him pretty hard. We don't know the full truth of what summoning a soul is like. We have only seen still shots of our fellow scions after their summoning. Is it possible they had a similar glow to them when they first arrived? Or was that effect specific to the changes they underwent due to Elidibus? These are many questions to ponder as 7.0 approaches, as well as the content beyond it. Might we see in these reflections adventurers and heroes similar to us? Or has the worst come to pass due to what Elidibus did? Let me know your opinion in the comments, and also ask all the questions you want. I'll answer them right away and also address them on my stream recap. If you enjoyed my latest video, leave a like to show your support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, and check out my channel for many other videos that I've uploaded. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much, it really means a lot. Thanks all, and now, as always, have a good one.